So your email marketing designs not only need to look good, but they also need to be set up properly for conversion. We see a lot of brands making the same mistakes over and over again that is killing their click rate and taking away from the main goal of all these emails, from getting subscribers to click them and start shopping on their website. You could have the best looking emails in the world, but if they're not set up properly for conversion, you're going to make it harder for subscribers to actually take the actions that you want them to take, meaning clicking the email and getting to the website to start shopping. So we want to make sure that our emails are properly structured so that we are making that as seamless and as easy as possible. So in today's video, I have 5 mistakes here that I see a lot of brands making that with just some really small tweaks will go a long way with improving their click rate and getting customers onto the website to start shopping. So let's dive into it. What you're looking at here is Figma. Figma is a design platform that we use to design all of our clients' emails. And within this, I have the 5 mistakes kind of broken down here. So let's get into mistake number 1. So the first mistake that we see a lot of brands making is having the CTA too low in the email. So on the left here, we have the original email that was sent by Veha, the brand. And if we look through this email and I'm a subscriber of Veha, when I receive this email and open it up, this is what I'm gonna see. We got the logo, we got a new collection heading here, but there's no CTA, there's nowhere for me to take an action or really see anything about the collection just from this view. Now, this view is your most important view for any email, as it's the first thing subscriber sees and you don't have to scroll down to see anything else. So anyone that opens the email is guaranteed to at least see this piece. So it's really important that we maximize the top of the email. And one thing you'll notice here is that there's no CTA button for anyone to click. Now, if we start scrolling, we can see that the first CTA that we have is all the way down here, explore the lookbook. We have a button for us to click, and that's way too low in the email. A lot of our subscribers who open these emails aren't even going to make it that far. A lot open it, see what it's about, and then click away. So to fix this issue, I redesigned this one on the right here. It's essentially the same email. I left everything about the email below the exact same. All I did was change this top section here. So what we did is, first thing, we brought that button all the way up to the top. We have that way above the fold here. We still have that same button down here, but we just added another one all the way at the top. And then the second more minor change here, I did swap out the image. Here at least we have a little bit of variation in the shoes that we have in the collection. This first image is just one pair of shoes that we have. So I do want to show that off a little bit more, but the main takeaway here, wanted to bring that button all the way up to the top so subscribers, right when they open the email, they know exactly what it's about and they can take action on that right away without having to scroll down at all. This is super duper fundamental to anything email marketing design. Super important to have a CTA above the fold. Okay, moving on. Mistake number 2. So mistake number 2 is having a top navigation bar. A ton of brands do this. Here's a good example from Yeti. And they send out emails and they have a navigation bar in the top with different buttons to different collections or whatever they want in the top of the header here. Now, it makes sense why brands do this. More buttons at the top, people see them, can take them to whatever collection they want, and they can do that right away. We've tested this across all of our brands, and we find that if we have a navigation bar at the top with multiple buttons on it, it takes away from, one, the main idea of the email, because we want them to shop this day trip collection, right? Ideally, we don't want them going to coolers, bags, drinkwares, new arrivals. We want them focused in on this collection. And 2, just having that many buttons in the top of the email leads to analysis paralysis, where they're less likely to actually click any buttons because they have too many options presented to them. You'll also notice that there is no button in the top of the email to actually shop the collection that we're advertising here. So to fix this, I did this instead. So very, very similar, just a small tweak to the email. But what we did is we removed that navigation bar from the top of the email here, getting rid of those buttons. We can still have those, and we'll get into that in a bit later of where we can move those, but we don't want them in the top of the email taking away from the main idea. On top of that, I just added this shop the collection button right here at the top to kind of streamline things. Now, this is super important, much more streamlined, much more likely to be clicked because it is leading them right into what the main idea of the email is, and then leads them straight into a CTA for them to actually take the desired action that we want them to. They're not bombarded with a bunch of different buttons and a bunch of different actions that we want them to take at the top. It's very clear, it's very streamlined for them to see this, open it up, and know exactly the action that we want them to take. Okay, so how did we fix this email? Well, we adjusted it in a couple ways. One, we took the section that was down here, the copy down here with the button that's right below the fold here, and we moved all that up to the top here. So that same copy, stay fresh for hours with lightweight coolers, size for petite provisions and big appetites. We just moved that up above the fold so when people open the email, they don't have to scroll. And then we just removed that navigation button that we have at the top. What this allows us to do is to keep the email very streamlined. We're presenting the main idea of the email, a little copy to support that main idea, and then pointing people to this big shop the collection button for them to actually take the action that we want them to take. One thing that we have to think about with these emails that we're sending out is people aren't reading them all that intently. They get a bunch of these from brands. They're probably signed up to 100 different brands lists. So we need to very clearly and very concisely, right at the top of the email, present what the main idea of the email is, why they should care about it, and then give them a place to click that. Make it as streamlined as possible and as clear as possible. When we add a bunch of extra stuff with a navigation bar or different buttons that are taken away from that main idea, it can be too overwhelming to subscribers and can actually be the difference from them clicking away from your email or actually clicking into the email. You'll see that as a very common theme throughout all of these mistakes that we're going to go through today. We have to build these for people who are not reading these very intently. They might be reading it in between their kids' practices or whenever they get a moment in between meetings at work. They're not thinking about it too hard. So we have to make these as clear and concise and skimmable as possible. Real quick, I just put together a massive swipe file of over 150 emails from real brands that I would consider to be at least a 9 out of 10 on design. And it's fully broken down by niche. So whether you're a food and beverage brand, an apparel brand, a beauty brand, you can see exactly what real brands in your niche are sending to generate tons and tons of revenue for them. So if you want access to that file completely for free, click the link in the description below. All right, back to the video. Okay, next mistake. Moving on. Mistake number 3, having large blocks of text. So I got 2 emails here, the original one that Element sent out and then our redesign of it. This is the original email on the left, and what it's highlighting is a blog post that they want us to read. So it's got the name of the blog post up here at the top. It's got a breakdown of what's in the article, what the blog post is about, why you should care about it. It's got a bunch of paragraph, probably too much copy here, and then a second pretty blocky one at the bottom. And you'll notice they also have a navigation bar at the top. But for this, we're just going to focus on the block of text they have here. You should always be thinking of what the goal of the email is. The goal of this email is for get people to click this button and go onto the blog and actually read the blog post and then potentially get them to shop around the site now that they're already there. So the problem here is twofold. One, the block of text here is almost too detailed. It's too much copy. It's telling you too much about what's in the article. If I'm someone who actually took the time to read this whole thing, I have a pretty good sense of what the article is about. And there's no need for me to actually come and click learn more to go read more about the topic that I just read about. So instead, we need this email to kind of tease the blog post and get people to want to read more about the topic within the blog post. The second problem with this is that it's just too much text. People, again, are skimming through these emails. They don't have a lot of time to read them. They get a bunch of these emails. So we have to make it as skimmable as possible, and large blocks of text like this don't allow it to be as skimmable. No one wants to sit here and read through multiple paragraphs. So how do we fix it? We redesigned it here on the right and fixed a couple things. One, couldn't resist. We redid the header here to make it super streamlined and have that CTA button up there at the top like we talked about before. Two, we took that block of text that we have here on the right and turn it into more of a graphic, a 1, 2, 3 graphic here that actually explains and kind of teases what's in the article without giving away too much. And the thing is, we took pretty much exactly the same copy that we have here, right? So these 3 bullet points that we have in this email, we just outlined them in a much more skimmable, much more streamlined version so that subscribers don't have to strain so much to read the whole thing. They can kind of just skim through it, get an idea of the blog, and then decide whether they want to read more. So a lot of these issues just stem from not thinking of what the main goal of the email actually is. In this case, again, is to get them onto the website to read the article. So we just need to tease it. We want to make it super skimmable. We don't need a bunch of text in there so that people are actually incentivized to continue reading on the website. Okay, that was number 3. Let's look at number 4. Okay, mistake number 4, not having a footer navigation. So here's an email that Native sent out, and it's actually a really great email. I don't have really any issues with this email except for the one that I'm about to talk about. So it's super clean, it's super simple. It highlights a main topic of the email right here at the top. It leads right into a CTA button above the fold, high up in the email. It's very skimmable, it's very quick. it breaks, instead of blocks of text, it breaks everything down in this kind of checklist item here. Overall, really solid, really great email. Now, my one problem with it is that they don't have anything in their footer that allows for a subscriber who may not be interested in fluoride-free toothpaste, but they may be interested in some of the other things that Native has to offer, like their shampoo or deodorant or conditioner, whatever it might be. So, like before, how we said we don't want that navigation bar at the top because it takes away from the main idea at the email. The bottom in the footer is a great place to have that because it doesn't take away from the rest of the email, the main idea of the email, and still gives subscribers the option of getting to the website to different collection pages if they want. So what does ours look like? So here's a redesign. Again, no issues with the rest of the email. Everything else is great. Everything else looks good. All we did was redesign the footer here. So in the footer, instead of what it was before, which is just really just a place for them to unsubscribe, now we have that same content down here at the bottom, but we also have these nice navigation buttons that if they're not interested in the fluoride-free toothpaste, like we're talking about in the email, we can shop body wash. We can shop for hand soap. We can shop for deodorant, skincare, hair, whatever it might be. This is the best way to balance giving your subscribers options to go to different collection pages while not taking away from the main idea that we want to convey in our email. Okay, let's move on to the last mistake here. So mistake number 5 is not having product buttons. I should say dedicated product button. So not having dedicated product button. So on the left is the original email that Lululemon sent out. So a couple of issues. One, no button above the fold. If we scroll a little bit, we can see that they're talking about a new collection that they're pushing. And then they have individual products for the collection that they're pushing. And then below that, they have this men's what's new, where it's all these different products and then a button for see all. Now, couple problems here. One, these are technically buttons, they're clickable, but they're not in your face enough for a subscriber who's just skimming through emails to see and want to click. So it's really important when we're showing off a bunch of different products like this to have a dedicated shop now button for each of those products. So if a subscriber sees a specific pair of pants or a hoodie that he's interested in shopping for, he can just be taken directly to that product page rather than taken to whatever general page that it is leading you to. Same thing with down here at the bottom. Even worse, there's no buttons at all. So technically you can click on each of these images. And when I tested it, they were actually taking you to the wrong product pages, which was a little weird. So, but if I'm a subscriber and I'm scrolling through this, the only button I see here is the see all button. And that kind of sucks because if I'm a subscriber and I'm scrolling through this email and I see this snazzy vest that we have here, and I want to shop that vest specifically, there's nowhere for me to actually click into that and be taken to the product page. I don't even know what this vest is called. If I went on Lululemon's website, I would have to go and try to find this vest. And they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of SKUs on there. I might not even ever find the vest. So it's really important that one, we're linking to these specific product pages. And two, we have dedicated shop now buttons for each of those products so that it's very clear that a subscriber can click that button and be taken to that product page. So what did the redesign look like? Well, here's the redesign that we did. So I took that one section that was down here and just moved it up a bit. Same exact copy, same exact everything. Just threw it in this box just to get it a little higher in the email. Below that, I redesigned this section to be kind of twofold. One, just outline the entire model here and then have dedicated shop now buttons with arrows coming from that piece with the different colors for that piece, and then a dedicated button to go shop that piece if they want. Same thing with down here. It's the same image. I just took an arrow from the pants, put in the colors that we have here, and then have a shop now button for that. That way we are maximizing the space that we have here with the image, and we still have the shop now buttons. A little pro tip for you, these do really well for click rate. If you add in the different colors like you would see on a website for a piece, does really well because people think you can click them, and once you do click them, it's actually a link that takes you to the site. So this is something that we like to do a lot. But moving down below, same thing. I just broke out the same two pieces that we have here. I just took one product image of model wearing it all together, did the same thing with the colors below it, and then a shop now button for each of these. This just presents the pieces in a little bit better of a way, a little bit more creative, and it's a little bit more intriguing for a subscriber to actually click these. Down below that, I redid the what's new section as well. So the same grid that we have here, this what's new section, I redesigned it to look a little bit more like this. So a couple things that we changed. Number one is I moved it from a 3x3 grid, like we can see here, to a 2x2 grid. Reason being, it just makes the images a little bit bigger. And if you're on mobile, it's just a lot easier to see a 2x2 grid. 3x3 gets kind of ridiculous on mobile. But within here, it's the image itself, and then I did add dedicated Shop Now buttons for each of these images so that it's super clear for subscribers to be able to click on these, be taken to the actual product page of that image so that they can continue shopping from there. This is super duper important for apparel brands, especially ones like Lululemon. They have so many SKUs, they have so many different variations of everything that it's super important to be linking out to those product pages. Goes a long way for click rate and then a long way for conversion. And then right down here at the bottom, I just have one button for shop all new releases so that if they didn't see anything they like here, they still have the option to click that and be taken to the site. Awesome. So that basically wraps up all 5 of the most common mistakes that we see brands making all the time that is really hurting their click rate. And as you can see, just some really small tweaks go a super long way in your email designs. Hope you found this video helpful. Start implementing these tweaks into your designs. You'll be surprised at how much it does for click rate. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you for sticking around until the end. And if there's any specific topics that you want me to start making videos on, let me know. Always looking for suggestions. All right, with that, I appreciate your time and I'll see you in the next one.